A pleasure to me all at last, and welcome back to Nerf Secrets Revealed Aftersought. And for now, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna get ourselves another unboxing. Yeah, a dreaded Keen Blaster. Yeah, I figured that it would be Hyper, but since Hyper itself is technically a patented thing in and of itself, known as Hyper Sight, which was all the way in the early 2000s, that's why I won't call this Hyper. So, pretend it's not there, if you will. But other than that, what we have here is the Fuel 20. Basically, one of the later releases in the series. And I'd say up until this very point, I'm actually kind of glad that Nerf was able to figure out various problems and deal with them personally. But this was basically a part of the transitioning period when the series itself was really garbage. The fact that they actually went out of their way to attempt to overthrow a legendary series of their own known as the Rival line in favor of utilizing this kind of project is sickening. I mean, the first three blasters did not do too well. In all honesty, I mean, how could they do well? They gave up really bad advertising and whatnot, and I had zero way to ever have any trust or hope in any of their claims. But here we go. This is what I feel like is so far the worst in the series. The Fuel 20 is in and of itself highly problematic, as other people have determined it. And now that I'm able to find one, it's my turn to lay down every possible personal retrospective that I have on this whole thing. So I'm gonna get this thing out of its packaging and we can get started. Here we are, pretty much. I got the eyewear, which is included with this blaster, all 20 of these rounds that it comes with, and of course the blaster itself. So we can get down to business here. First off, we got tactical rails along with this giant hand card, which for some reason seems to be a more common thing nowadays with a lot of newer blasters in mind. So I don't know why Nerf is making all these decisions and whatnot to put tactical rails on the hand guard, which it's just strange the way I see it. There's not even any on the top. But then again, with this type of hopper door that just pops upward, I guess they had to come up with something here for tactical rails and whatnot. The blaster itself is pretty small, certainly not like the Rush 40 or even the more recent Impulse 40, which honestly is much better at what it does. Being a more compact variation of this lineup, you would think that this would actually do quite similarly to many of the other smaller versions of these blasters. But let's just say we're talking a little too soon. And so let's get on to quite a big problem here that I've dealt with in some other blasters. Well, there's the safety switch, of course. Well, what do you know? It's just as I had suspected. Constant misfiring, and that is a huge pet peeve with most people that have reviewed these blasters. Oh, did it again. So I suppose that this one technique that you can do that might help a bit is hold it downwards. That way the rounds can fall closer to the chamber, so that way they can be picked up by the slider and then loaded into place. Well, would you look at that? Finally got one round to come out, and so I guess for right now we'll just go ahead and yeah, fire one more off. So I got really nothing else to say at this point. It might as well just be bad at what it does. But it's actually a little bit more than that. I guess the last thing that I could try though would have to be invisible integration. And so just like that, why don't we go ahead and give it a try. That was a misfire again, so let's try this again. Huh. A little crummy, if you will. Okay, I feel like I got everything that I need to lay down every possible fact on this and give my final scoring on this. So, to start off, compact blaster, lightweight, decent enough to be able to carry around, not necessarily portable like a bunch of other smaller blasters that Nerf has made over the years. It has itself a prime that's a little bit awkward to hold on to and not quite as comfortable as most other blasters from this entire line, pretty much. Tactical rails on a giant handguard, which I honestly feel both of these things just don't seem that necessary. And having none on the top, not even this tiny little bit right here with about 2 or 3 inches of clearance, could have been helpful by any means. Then of course you have yourself the safety switch. Oh, would you look at that. Now the safety switch is failing? I don't know at this point, guys. Well, jam door, looks like I could barely stick my finger in there to clear up any jams. And, okay, now the jam door hurts my fingernails. Honestly, I am not trying to deliberately find anything wrong with this blaster. This is, in fact, how most people have found it to be. A bad blaster from a bad line. And even though there have been much better blasters, honestly, why did the lineup really need to exist? I don't know why. I guess Nerf likes to make some extra cash. But this is pretty much it. Constant misfiring. A hopper that can practically work in and of itself. Unfortunately doesn't do too well at what it's supposed to do. Awkward prime, not so necessarily tack rails with a giant handguard, and I feel like that the range, performance, and accuracy are a bit underwhelming to say the least. Because in contrast to other blasters from this line, I'd say the Field 20 is the low end of the bargain, and end of story. So, I guess one good thing that I got here, well, 2 good things I guess. Free eyewear and some extra round for all the other blasters that I currently own in my collection. So, done and done. Final scoring on this, 4.2 out of 10.1. So far, the lowest of all of them. And I know that there have been other blasters that have been released since then, so don't expect this to go away anytime soon. And I'll see you guys later with some more content revolving around this and otherwise.